Welcome to the BTS Presents show.
I'm Brian Schulman, I'm the producer. We're currently doing segments on Santa Cruz County and Silicon Valley real estate behind the scenes. Thanks for watching.
Hi, I'm Candace Bradfield, broker and owner of Bradfield and Associates, and past president of our Santa Cruz County Association of Realtors. I want to thank you for joining BTS Presents.
Hi, I'm Datta Khalsa. Welcome back to the show. We appreciate you joining us. We have an interesting format we're going to try with this show. We always pride ourselves in bringing divergent views together, and I'm two gentlemen who have actually been in court, faced off against each other, ironically. Ed Frey, who is a local citizen and lawyer who is specialized in landlord-tenant law, and also has social political views that are basically in support of redistribution of wealth, or a more just distribution of wealth. And then next to him, Darius Mohsenin, who's one of the largest private housing providers in the area, and yet the vibe between the two of you is surprisingly cordial and respectful. I think that's probably partly because of Darius's social political leanings that are much more liberal than you might expect of somebody with the amount of property that he has. So can you cue us in a little bit on where the discussion was going? It was the liveliest, I think, of the three panelist pairs here.
Well, we were covering a lot of things from one thing that I was actually talking to Ed about was, by the way, I've always referred to him, just so you know, I always referred to you when I'm talking about you, and I have to other folks as the other ponytail lawyer. Tony Serra being the one. So you're in good company. Anyway.
Don't forget Ray Grunet.
Oh, okay. I don't know him, but
No, he's passed.
okay. Anyway.
He's not passed. He's still alive.
He's coming back.
He's coming back. That was one of only two ponytailed realtors in town. I once lost my ponytail, but I don't think that's any cred. But okay, that's a good start.
One thing that's sorely lacking in this community, and it's surprising given the progressive nature of the people here. It is the smallest county in Santa Cruz. People know each other, and they're very active. There's no mediation organization focused squarely on landlord-tenant issues. And what I mean is something where the problem with landlord-tenant relations today here in Santa Cruz is there's only one forum really to resolve differences, and it's 700 Ocean Street, the courthouse. Landlords hate going there. Landlords hate evictions. They're costly, time-consuming. They always typically lead to bad feelings on both sides. And it's the nature of landlord-tenant disputes, majority of them being non-payment of rent, could be resolved through an ombudsman an ombudsman group, or entity. And there are ones that there's an organization called Echo Housing that's in 21 jurisdictions in the Bay Area. They're lean and mean. I'm familiar with San Leandro. I have property there too. Echo Housing provides mediation services and fair housing services for tenants in San Leandro, and it costs them a total of $25,000 a year. It costs the San Leandro $25,000 a year.
And what's the cost of filing a complaint in that system?
Zero. I mean, the tenants can file a complaint, and then their caseworker reviews it. They contact me. We discuss it. We come up, and majority of the times we resolve it without any litigation.
So Ed, speaking as a lawyer, how does this sound to you? But a lawyer with a strong social conscience, obviously.
Well, it sounds very commonsensical, really. I mean, we have the very rigid legal system with a lot of ancient laws and even modern day laws that cause a lot of problems and don't make a lot of sense. Judges have to follow the law, whatever it is, and there's all kinds of formalities you got to go through, and fees you got to pay, and delays, in the court system. And so, I'm all in favor of a more mediation-oriented system, which is, because each case is unique. Each landlord-tenant dispute has its own unique features, and so it ought to be a process of discussion and negotiation about the particular facts of that particular tenancy, and you'd get a more just result, I think, if people could listen to each side. Whereas a judge, he's got maybe 8 or 9 eviction cases on her or his calendar in the morning. They got to take one after another, rapid fire. They don't, and it's all hit or miss.
Okay. Well, let's switch gears. Is there anything the two of you don't particularly agree on? I'll throw out the basically the statement that private property ownership is theft by nature in a capitalist society. So, speaking as a private property owner of a fair amount of housing, that would insinuate that you've stolen what you have. I think there's probably a broader sense of just the system not being fair. So do you want to speak to that a little bit, and how do you, because obviously the two of you get along and have similar, at least social views, if not economic views. So how do you reconcile that?
Well, I don't know that we can reconcile it right away. I mean, it's a very long developing problem through history of how real property is controlled and who gets to own it, who gets to control it. I mean, it's very long history, and I think if we could just have a public dialogue about the present system, where all parties, can come together and hash it out.
Okay, well, how about a private dialogue? You've got a property owner here. How would you propose, for example, that Darius reallocate or contribute in a way that wouldn't be unfair to him and that would help society?
Well, you'd have to have a system-wide development where everybody is involved and everybody would have an equal say in what's going on when you're developing a new system. But in operating a new and equitable system of land distribution, I think everyone should have. It's like the proposal to have a guaranteed income for everyone. That everyone is entitled to dignity, a sense of dignity.
Maybe some health care?
Everyone is entitled to health care. Everyone is entitled to decent housing, decent education, and so on. And so the housing part, you have to make sure that the bottom line would be that everyone has the right to occupy decent housing.
And so, Darius, you've put forth a couple of ideas. Do you want to?
Well,
we have about a minute left of your guys' discussion.
Okay. I think Ed, reading between the lines, he believes that housing is a basic human right, like health care, like clean water, and so forth and so forth and so on. I agree with that. I mean, I've seen lives transformed when I've rented to like a VASH, that's a veteran's voucher. Take them off the street. They have stable. Once you have stable housing, you have stable health. Your health stabilizes. Your mental health stabilizes. Your physical health stabilizes. You're able to get a job. You're able to start, contributing to the economic engine of the community you're in. But the cost of should not be put on moms and pops and individual land property owners. That is a uniquely government burden, I believe. And I think it's a failure of government, both federal and state, given the order of magnitude that's required to solve it. I think it's a failure on their part, and there needs to be more money, subsidies for public housing or for novel, out-of-the-box means of creating more housing, relaxing requirements for carports in Santa. For instance, locally, we've got so much covered parking was required for building new units. I think they have relaxed that. There's fire sprinkler requirements. These are actually rather onerous and add $15,000-$20,000 to the cost of housing. relaxing some zoning restrictions, or looking at parking is a big driver of density, for instance. And maybe, I mean, for instance, I would gladly sign with a land use agreement that says I can only rent to folks without cars, and therefore I can get more density. And there are a lot of people without cars. And if you look at millennial trends, I mean, they're either waiting longer or not getting driver's license. My young niece,
you might even
nephew,
take out kitchens. Very few people of some generations.
or a very minimal kitchen.
So, thank you. I wish we had more time.
Thanks for watching the BTS Presents show.